Hi, I'm Jo Riddock, Content Editor at SVG Europe, and I'm here with Guilhem Krier, Head of New Business and Market Development at Panasonic Connect Europe. Welcome, Guilhem.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Panasonic Connect is the title sponsor of the France Summit. What trends are you currently seeing in French sports broadcasting, and what challenges are content producers facing?
Well, of course, there's a lot of things going on, but the main thing, of course, for everybody is IP and the transition to IP, of course. And it's been, of course, steadily growing in the broadcast industry for the past few years. And then, luckily or unluckily, the pandemics struck, and it kind of slowed down some of the transition, but also increased also some of the transition, because it helped with remote production, establishing remote production, going for this kind of production where you don't need to ship everything on site and so on, for obvious reasons. But for some broadcasters, it's also slowed down a bit the adoption, because let's say the priorities were on different things, right? Mm-hmm. But definitely for sports, I think everybody would agree that it actually made this trend faster and the adoption faster. Again, thanks to remote production, basically. So yeah.
Okay. And what about developments at Panasonic? What's new that's helping creators meet these challenges?
Well, of course, we are listening to the market needs, and we are always trying to implement new technology in the products that help our customers with what is required from them, but also with the challenges they are facing and so on. And it's been kind of our motto for many years now that the products should not, the customers should not adapt to our products, but should be the other way around, that the product should adapt to the customer, because especially now with IP, we see that people are using many different kinds of workflows. They have different expectations, different challenges, and so on. So they all have a different view on things and so on. So the products have to be very flexible and so on. And also they have to be able to connect all together to create these workflows. And that's not only true for, of course, Panasonic products, but all of the products of the ecosystem should be interacting somehow and being compatible and so on. So that's why adopting protocols, for example, is very important, to make sure that the customer has a good experience with the products, and that they don't spend hours and days trying to figure out what is going to work or not work. So, and this is the beauty of such protocols and things like SMPT 2110 or NDI and so on, that it's kind of a basis on where manufacturer can build these workflows using various cameras and switchers and so on and so on and so on. So we've been among the first manufacturers to adopt all the protocols that were needed from the market, such as NDI, SRT as well, ST2110 and so on. And we are trying to pack all these protocols and technologies into the products so that whatever is needed by the customer, they can basically find it in the cameras. It's especially true with our new cameras that we just announced last month during NAB New York, which are the new PLV 100 studio camera, which is a studio camera also really focused on IP, and the new UV160 PTZ camera, also really focusing on this IP world. So in a nutshell, this new studio camera is at the same time, and it is also a trend that we can mention here, the need to have some cinematographic kind of picture with shallow depths of field kind of pictures. This is also one of the requests at the moment on the market that we can talk about. But this camera will be a Super 35 camera using PL mount directly without adapters and stuff. So this is one part of the product, and the other part is that it's fully, let's say, IP ST2110 ready, meaning by that you can get ST2110 directly out of the camera head. So not necessarily needing a CCU to work with the camera, like in the traditional way. Of course, we can do that as well. So you can get ST2110 4K or HD straight out of the system, and also using JPEG XS, so that again, it's ready for remote production, for example. So actually 2 trends that we are answering to with this product. So as we said, this kind of shallow depth of field, cinematic feel kind of picture on one side, and the need to go IP on the other side. And for the new UE160 PTZ camera, it's the first camera, it's the first on the market to have a camera supporting ST2110 natively inside of the camera, as well as full bandwidth NDI, NDI-HX, SRT, 3D, you name it. Basically, everything is crammed into that compact PTZ camera. So anything that's requested by the customer, basically the camera can do.
Brilliant. Okay. And you mentioned IP there, and that transition is continuing. How is Panasonic helping organizations to reap the benefits of IP workflows?
Well, as mentioned, this trend is here, of course, to stay. It comes, of course, with some challenges, that's for sure. And it's also one of the reasons why the IP adoption has not taken place earlier than the current past few years. One obvious one is the costs that are still needed in this kind of transition. So we've always been very, let's say, conscious about the pricing of the cameras. And let's say we've been trying to find the sweet spot between something that is affordable, but also has all the right features inside. So we are really focusing at giving the best value to the customers without spending tons of money. And this is clearly also, as mentioned, helping in this direction, because usually the costs involved in IP transition are still quite high. So everybody, let's say, has to chip in and offer affordable products to make the overall IP story more appealing to customers, and also the transition faster. So that would be one of them. And the other one, very obvious one, is, as I said, to make the products ready for this transition, meaning that the products have inside what is needed. They are supporting the right protocols, the right standards, and so on, so that it's not a headache for the customer to figure out how it works and if it's going to work with the other products that he already has in his system, and so on and so on. So it could be, as an example, we have our Kairos processing platform. It fully supports ST2110. It's fully based on that. Everything is processed with ST2110 in mind, and it supports, for example, the NMOS feature, so that it's connected to something else or some other components of the overall architecture at the customer side, just as one quick example. And so, yeah, the capability to interconnect the products together, and that all of the component of the architecture work together.
Brilliant, that's great. Thank you, Guilhem.